rough, man. It can be seriously rough.
I'm 40 next month, and
happy birthday.
Thank you. 25. I've had high blood pressure since then. You cannot outrun genetics. So yeah, I feel you on that one. And then like Blake, for real, man, I feel like yesterday I see this great tweet. Carter has the best show ever. Then I see Paul Gervais is coming on after. I was like, good Lord, what a position I'm in today. It's like, set low expectations and you won't be disappointed. Good grief. Can you imagine being in the batter's box with that 6'10" monster on the mound staring down at you? Good.
I mean, look, no, I can't. But let me say this. Hall of Famers bat leadoff. Ichiro. Jeter. You're the Jeter of AYS. That's just what it is.
So I'm going to give you average, but clearly I'm not going for power. So, well, it'll still get me into the Hall of Fame.
Hey, a jacket is a jacket in my book.
Damn right it is.
That's all I got to say. Look, there's so much that we could go here, but something that we talked about off air, just got done talking about spring football practice.
Yep.
One thing that you mentioned to me, and look, we've kind of mentioned it on Twitter Spaces in the show a little bit, but how experienced from a year standpoint this LSU defensive back room is. Share with the audience what we kind of talked about off air. Look, there's so many seniors, so many guys with a lot of starts. Maybe you add Seven Banks. What do you, Sean, you've been in this game a long time. When you have that much experience, that can only benefit LSU, though, right?
This is kind of where we are in 2022 with the transfer portal. And Blake, you don't mind, I'm gonna take it a step further. This is potential 2 deep guys this year just from the transfer portal. Okay, quarterback could be Jaden Daniels, transfer Arizona State. Running back's probably going to be Emory, but your second or third back, maybe both, could be Noah Cain, Penn State.
Right.
Trey Badford, Oklahoma. Somewhere on the 2 deep at wide receiver, you can pick which one, but Kyron Lacey, transfer Lafayette. Along the offensive line, Miles Frazier, who we thought would be left tackle, still might be, but the boy up from Neville might have something to say about that.
Yep.
I think Frazier's going to start. Tremont Shorts, East Tennessee State, will probably be on the 2 deep, if not start. Let's flip it to the other side. I know the defensive line with Gay and Ojolari and Roy and Mason Smith. Like, you're probably good with your front 4, but right behind that, Mekhi Wingo.
Right.
Transfer from Missouri. Your guy, my guy, Mike Jones. Linebacker. Why not? Clemson, right? Probably going to start. In the 2 deep, potentially Wes Weeks, Virginia. And then Kobe Field, South Carolina. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? And then it gets bananas, okay? At some point, you can be looking and look up on your screen. You're at Tiger Stadium. You look down on the field. And, I'm not trying to Jay Ward. Yet those guys, the Langelos and Harris's, and, those guys are all going to have an impact. But you could potentially see Greg Brooks, Arkansas. Fushua, Arkansas. Major Burns, Georgia. Mekhi Gardner, Lafayette. Jarrett Bernard Converse, Oklahoma State. And then, as you said, it looks likely that Seven Banks, Ohio State. You could look up in your entire secondary be transfer players.
So, I mean, sounds like a lot with a NFL free agency.
Does it not look like free agency?
Right. And then, Sean, today, I don't know if you saw, but I think it was Dellinger or somebody reported that there's going to be a vote tomorrow in reference to not allow, getting rid of the 25 scholarship limit for one recruiting class because teams have to get back to the 85. Look, I think Brian Kelly did a great deal here, getting them close back to the 85. Yeah. But Sean, what if he didn't? Okay, what if there's a scenario where he can't get you back there? And so now you're only what if they're limiting him to 25 scholarships? I know it is free agency. But what do you at this point? What do you do? Congress has come. I mean, I know that there needs to be some type of regulation, but what can you do? Do you think,
Blake? That's a $1 billion question.
Literally.
And this is something that we talk about every single day with NIL and with the transfer portal. We are clearly living in the player empowerment era.
Right.
A lot of me that likes that and understands that. There's the old school part of me that says, why did we have to go so far away from what we're used to and what's made college athletics what it is. I'm not trying to hedge on here, but I just feel like the genie's out of the bottle. Pandora's box is open. You can't put it back. You can't close it. I honestly don't have the answer. I keep looking at this, and there's part of me is like, man, this is pretty cool that you can fix your roster just like that. Now, remember what the secondary looked like when we went to the Texas Bowl?
Oh, dude.
There's a reason that there's all these transfers here.
Pick Cage. Pick Cage is starting. You got 2 walk-ons starting.
So thank God for the transfer portal for this aspect that, like, overnight you've turned what could be a weakness for at least a year. On paper, this could be a damn good secondary if you stay healthy. But you can't sustain. Like, eventually we have to go back and start building. And I'm not just about LSU, I'm talking about college football. You got to start building again through the high school ranks. And those are the kids I feel sorry. Like, I'm glad that these guys are getting opportunities. And we got some guys who, let's be honest, Brooks and Fauchois, they should have been in LSU Tigers to begin with.
I agree.
They agree. And Blake, I think we talked about this last time. I've always said if you're good enough to play at Arkansas,
you're good enough to play at LSU.
And some of these, I guess, they're not perceived like the high level SEC, but you could play at LSU. Brooks and Fauchois would have played very, very early in their tenure at LSU. So I'm glad they get the opportunities. But these high school seniors are the ones really missing out. And again, if I'm regurgitating something I said last time, I apologize. But I talked to a coach at the G5 level, and he told me, he said, Fox, we're going to sign about 7 kids from the high school level, and everybody else is going to be to the transfer pool. And he said, because we have to. Their jobs depend on it. You are paid to win right away. What's the easiest way to do that? Is it getting kids who are fresh and are going to take time to develop, or go get somebody who's already developed for you?
Well,
sorry, house.
Oh, dude.
You know how it is.
Dude, my little dude ran in here last night and said, "Mama whipped me" or something. You know, he's acting bad. So
from time to time.
You have
Dude,
you
she
have to apologize to me.
Go from a hotel room 2 weeks ago, and she did a run-in, and she roasted me. The roast going like, you're 11. I was like, yeah, I could see Jerry's world from here. She's like, why are you telling people that? You can't. I was like, it's radio. So, sorry.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, look, I think it's, and Deion Sanders, back to your point, Deion Sanders mentioned it too. He's like, why, if my job's on the line, why would I take a kid from high school if my job's on the line and I need a guy that can play now and I know?
You have to win now. And again, I guess going forward, if you're LSU, what have, Blake, was it 29 scholarships and more than half were portal players?
Correct. I mean, there are 15 high school, 17 transfers.
And it's Brian Kelly's first year. You clearly had a lot of holes in this roster, particularly the position we just talked about. That's why it's so littered with the Brooks, the Fauchois, the Burns, the Gardners, the Banks. You want to flip that number, and I think significantly more going forward. You want to be able, hopefully, to get more high school kids. I think that would be perfect, but I just don't know if you're going to be able to.
The Golden Boot Pod, Zach, put that question up here, the hashtag Ask Blake. But I think this is a good segue or transition here. They said hashtag Ask Blake and Ask Sean. Because of this and the transfer portal, what position group do you think has developed most under the new staff? I mean, I know that we talked about DB, but look, Sean, I'm not saying that LSU is not going to be, DBU elite. But my thing is when you have that many seniors in the defensive back room, there's not a lot that they haven't seen. Do you think that position is going to be the most notable going into next season?
So I love it. I do think it's deep because of the upperclassmen that you mentioned. And shout out to those guys. They're doing a great job. I'll tell you what I'm really intrigued by right now. I'm going to go the other backs. I'm going to go running back position.
Okay.
And I don't know if you were expecting that because I was looking at this earlier today, getting ready for my show, to get ready to do your show. I know this is like, I grew up with the era of Falk, Mealy, and Collins. Right?
Right.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is live stuff at its greatest.
Oh, dude.
They have no
This is golden. I love it. You don't have to apologize to me.
So you had a deep running back group, and it felt like forever LSU was DBU, like, look how many running backs. Like, we sleep on the toe fields. Heck, we sleep on the Joe Adais, but it seemed like LSU running back after running back and running back. And I know Tyrone Davis-Price kind of took that step. at the end of last year, really starting with the Florida game. But I think we can all say this running back group has not been what we had become accustomed to with
Right.
that was kind of LSU's identity. Is we're going to run the football and we're going to play good defense. And the running game hasn't been with what we're used to. I look at this now, and if John Emery, and I think he will, take that next step, Corey Kiner, Noah Kane, how about Trey Bradford?
Huh.
You could kind of technically put him under a transfer because he did go to Oklahoma for
Right.
Goodwin. And Josh Williams has got significant reps in this offense. You're looking 6 deep. I am incredibly excited about this running back group this year.
Well, and look, Mike Denbrock, he's doing a press conference right now, and I just got sent that he's talking about John Emery. He's ultra, I'm just quoting here and paraphrasing, ultra talented. We got to find multiple ways to get him the ball in space. And look, I think that falls to your point. Now, I've said my piece on John Emery, but I like it because you're going to have to, Sean, I mentioned this already.
More than one.
Yeah. Right. And you're going to have to get your physicality back. Like over the last few years, your physicality went out the door. Okay. And you got to go get it back. Maybe a running back sets that tone. Sean Fox is joining us here as our guest. You can follow him on Twitter at Fox4 Sports Talk. I want to transition here because the last time we spoke, we talked a little bit of basketball.
Yes.
Now, a very talented Louisiana Tech player went in the portal.
Right.
Do you think that Matt McMahon could go up to Ruston and pull one off and get him a forward?
Salt in the wound, Blake. I'll put it this way. I am if Kenneth Lofton was not in a Bulldog uniform and he had to play for somebody else, I would love for it to be LSU.
Are you with me very quickly and rudely interrupting? You think he could play at LSU, right? I mean, that's not debatable.
Look at his offer list. Like Kenneth, and look, I get it. A lot of people you listen, you probably saw him play against LSU and Bossier, and that's probably the only time you saw Louisiana Tech and Kenneth Lofton play. What I'm about to say, hear me out before everybody thinks I'm crazy. Kenneth Lofton is one of the best players in college basketball.
I don't disagree with you.
That doesn't mean Kenneth Lofton is an NBA prospect. He's a great college basketball player who would probably start at LSU next year. Look at his offer list. LSU, Auburn, Kentucky, Gonzaga. You're not getting those offers. Houston, Texas, and Texas A&M. You're not getting those offers if you're a slouch. Go look at what he did against LSU last year as a true freshman.
Right.
And
he gave Reed the business.
And here's the thing, like, look, when you're in the transfer portal, let's be honest, this isn't the first time you're contacted. There may have been some contact.
God, thank you for saying it.
Yeah, there might have been some contact his freshman year between LSU and Lofton.
Not Will Wade. No, not the general.
Always on the up and up. Love me. I will still wade. I still will wade for Wade, but I will march with McMahon. But I love that hire.
I like it. Okay. I like that hashtag. Zachy, write that down.
I will wade for you, but I'll march for McMahon. Okay. That all said, I do not think Kenneth Lofton's going to LSU.
Gotcha.
And again, why would you right now? Okay, there's still that black cloud that's hanging over this program. Now, that said, I'm using that phrase a lot today. Matt McMahon has recruited better than I thought they would. You look at the kids he got from Murray State. The kid from Northwestern State's a player too now.
He can't play. He came Southeastern and Hammond, and he dominated.
Yeah, he's a good player. But getting Cam Hayes was a starting point guard at NC State.
Right.
When all this was going down, I thought Matt McMahon's roster would look like the G5 All-Stars. All-Stars. Like the fact, which is great. And I think he can develop them, but I didn't think they'd get NC State's starting point guard. And then I see the transfer portal and Aaron Torres from Fox Sports, who does a great job covering college basketball. He's got a transfer portal ranking on his site, and LSU's in on a number of players, including like Murray State's got another stud who's in the getting evaluated by the
NBA. Right,
he may end up in the portal and may end up at LSU. So I think Matt McMahon, he might not get Kenneth Lofton. I wish he would. I don't think he is, but he is doing a much better job in recruiting than I thought he would be able to, considering everything that's surrounding this program.
All right, so I agree with you about the recruiting. I didn't really expect this. I thought, I don't want to say it was going to be dire, but I just really wasn't expecting it, Sean, honestly.
Well, we thought they made Northwestern, Southeasterns, Nichols roster, and that would be your Fighting Tigers in 2022.
I thought that the Fighting Parkers that came from Southeastern would be your starting five, but he's definitely surprised me. Look, I got one last one, and we'll let you out of here. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, sorry for
Oh, dude. We're Chaos City around here. LSU goes to Arkansas this week. Big baseball weekend. Now, Arkansas just dropped 2 or 3 to Florida. Can LSU has been road warriors? I mean, look, we got Paul Gervais coming up here in a minute.
Well,
look, they found a bullpen.
Deck.
What's that?
I said Paul Gervais is on deck. I can't say anything bad.
Well, that's true.
Get it to the closer, and they're going to be in great hands.
Okay, so what you're saying is if Paul Gervais throws every night, they're going to sweep.
I'm saying he needs to go 3 for 3. And hey, but how about the impact that another kid, we talked about Will Campbell for a second earlier. How about another impact player from the 318, Pearson. Lineup? Mm-hmm. He's how good was he this weekend?
Well, look, and Stevenson too, man. I mean, look, I digress. 3-1-8, 3-1 great. They don't call it that, Sean, for nothing.
We usually don't call it that much, but we have been able to. We need any kind of good publicity we can get up here. Anytime we can get a compliment from below the boudin line for above the boudin line, it's a good thing.
Hey, the song goes, I'm from Louisiana. It doesn't say what part.
Hey, by the way, he's from Grambling, which is 318, who wrote that song. So I'm just saying.
I love it. I love it. Sean Fox has been our guest. Dude, we're going to have to spend more time together.
As long as I don't get run-ins by the NWO in here of the girls, we're good.
WWE match going while Vince McMahon in the background.
Crazy.
I love it. Sean, you've been fantastic as always, brother. We'll talk to you soon.